Hi guys, so today I'll be doing a video recap video. I have a couple questions here that I want to answer, and like I always say, I feel bad that I can't get to all of the questions, but I'll try to hit a few here and there. I'm out here in my shed. We have a beautiful morning here. If you like a rainy spring-like morning, which that is what we're having, you may end up even hearing some rain on the roof. It looks pretty cloudy out there. But things are starting to green up. My favorite time of the year. I just cannot get enough of it. And Pebbles is out here with me today. She enjoys the shed too. So we'll get right to it and start on the questions here. The first questions are from the Q&A video from last month. And Melanie asks about the mantle, the fireplace mantle we have in our living room. And sadly, it's not a real fireplace in there. Everything is just fake. But years ago, I just wanted that look, you know, to have a fireplace in there to kind of cozy things up, and then also, you know, the mantle to decorate with. She is saying in your previous blog, you mentioned cutting it shorter because of not having real high ceilings. I did that. We only have the 8-foot ceilings, so I just made the mantle a total of about 54 inches high. I think that looks better in our space. And then the width of it is around 60 inches, I believe. I measured it this morning and I'm trying to remember. But yeah, it wasn't hard to make. I realized I should probably do a video on this sometime on just how to make a mantle. They're really simple to make. The next question here is Abigail asking, would you recommend a jigsaw for small projects? I do have a jigsaw. I don't use it very often. I'm not even sure of the brand. It's kind of a generic brand, I believe, but I will try to find a link of one and link it down below in the description box in case you're looking for something like that. I do use a jigsaw every now and then, not very often, but anytime I want to cut something in maybe rounded edges or a little shape of some sorts, it comes in really handy for that. I can't really remember ever using it since I've had this channel or, showed it in a video, but it's definitely nice to have one on hand in case you want to do something with it. So Beth Smith is asking about the Gianni countertop paint. I'm not sure am I pronouncing that correctly or not, but it is a kit that you can buy to redo your countertops yourself, and everything is included in there. I have used a few of the kits over the years. I actually had done some kitchen makeovers for other people where I painted their cabinets and then redid the countertops, and it worked well. I think it was pretty easy to understand. There was a DVD with the kit, step by step on how to actually do it. I had used it on my own countertops, but I did not really follow the rules on there because their step-by-step is more, to get maybe a granite look, and I wanted more the marble look, but I did, use the product to get that marble look. But yeah, everything is in there in the kit that you need, and I thought it, it just really gives a whole new look to a kitchen. Now, I do know one of my friends that I had redone their kitchen. She, needed to touch up every now and then. Countertops get so much use and wear. And so it did, maybe just chip off here and there just a little bit, but I had used the black color, so she just takes a black Sharpie marker and just, paints that in. And being it has that dimensional look, you can kind of get away with that. You don't like see every nick and scratch. I would definitely recommend that as a cheap countertop makeover fix. So Stephanie is asking about painting glass bottles. I have done that in several of my videos already. And my only tip with that would be to just make sure to apply just thin, numerous coats instead of just one thick coat, because it will run, being that glass is a really, smooth surface. So Stephanie is also asking whether to use a vinyl decal on glass, painted glass jars, or stencil the letters in, or quote, or whatever you want to add onto there. You can do either way. For me, I prefer the vinyl decal. Often if I put something like that on a glass container, it'll just be for a vase or maybe a home decoration that I won't just submerge in water all the time. So the vinyl I use, which is the 631 Origo vinyl, is okay for something like that, to just wipe it down with a rag if you want to clean it, but I wouldn't want to just submerge it in water all the time. There are vinyls for that. The 651 vinyl is more a permanent vinyl, and it is meant to be, washed, and it should be okay. But then there's always the option of just stenciling your letters in, using paint to apply your letters, and that way it probably wouldn't come off at all unless you just, scratched over it or something. But either way should work for that. Amy Cummins asks, what does your husband and boys think of all the continuous change and beautiful decor? Well, you know, guys often don't really just, notice every little thing like I probably would, but they are okay with it. I know my husband especially likes a fresh look. I'm just blessed with that, because I know some husbands would probably kind of groan if they came home and their wives were maybe tearing out a wall or ripping away a countertop or something. And I usually can kind of get away with that without, causing too many ripples. Thankfully, again, I don't know, has he just gotten used to it? That's just kind of who I am. I can't really remember him ever being, angry with something I did. He's really supportive. The boys, I'd say they like it too. They kind of appreciate, new, fresh looks. And I'll tell you guys a little trick. This might be on the humorous side. So let's say you want to maybe remove a section of cabinets in your kitchen and create some open shelving, or remove a bottom section and maybe create a bar or something. Pretty minor, I'd say, if you ask me, not costing, too much. Maybe if you would present it as, can we just add an addition to the house or that garage that we so long have wanted already? And after that scary conversation's over with, you just say, what if I just take out this little section of cabinets? Would you mind if I just did that for a little new look or something? It's surprising, most of the time they may actually agree to just the smaller project then. I'm not saying I ever did that. So I had to change my battery. Pat Gardner is asking about my dad being an electrician. Is he still Amish, or did he do electrical work when he was Amish? He is not Amish anymore, and he has always done electric work for as long as I can remember. So yes, he did that while he was a member of the Amish church. So the next few questions are from the water feature video. Kelly asked, did you do this whole project in one day? I get a lot of questions about that when I do different projects. How long did it take me? And I've already thought about doing a, literally, clocking in and out while I work on a project, because often if I'm working on something, I don't just do it all the time. I have all these other things that I need to see to, so often it's just whenever I have a minute. But I should definitely, write my time down or whatever, and, time myself sometimes on some of these projects. But I would say for that project, I could definitely have done that in a day if I would have had time to work on it, all the time. And I'm even kind of thinking maybe I did for this one, because I know it got kind of late. My lighting wasn't as good towards the end, but yeah, I'd say if I'd had a day to do that, I probably could have done it. So Lillian Elliott is asking, why didn't you use your sprayer on the louver doors? Good question. I thought the same thing while I was painting them tediously with my brush, but I'm pretty sure the weather would have been too cold outside to spray paint, or I would have. So Sylvia is asking what kind of paint I would recommend to paint wood with. I often say this, and you may have heard me say this before, but for those of you that haven't, I love Do It Best brand paint. A lot of the reason I get that is because our local hardware carries it. I feel like I'm fading out here with brightness. There, that's better. I really like my Do It Best brand paint. I just feel it is, it's good for walls and furniture and just anything. I've never really had any bad luck with it, but that's just my personal experience. I'm sure we all have our favorite paints. There's no right or wrong about any, different brands, but that is probably what I would go with. Jeannie Evans is asking, just out of curiosity, how many of the pieces you took to the outside sale booth have you been able to salvage by now? I haven't addressed this recently, but if you have been following my channel for a while now, you probably remember last June when that storm tore through that booth that I had just finished setting up for the Vintage Fair in Walnut Creek and destroyed, most of my things. So I'll be honest here, I think every single piece and sign and every little home decoration item is still sitting in our shop, and it's pathetic. I know I should have gotten to that and started, fixing things, but for the longest time, I just did not have mood. I'll admit it was just hard for me to even go into that shop and just see everything, damaged. I think every piece probably needs just a little bit of work somewhere. It'll definitely take some time. And then I got this idea, which I think this storm actually kind of pushed me toward, doing this. I've always thought about it, but never really got around to it until, after that happened. But I'm still fixing up a little section in our shop where I plan to have kind of a permanent booth, I guess you could call it. And that way all the things that I, redo, anything from my Trash to Treasure, videos, the items in there, and then furniture pieces, That way I'll have a little outlet to maybe get rid of them. I'm still planning on, you know, opening my little shop and maybe doing appointments only, having people come, probably mostly local people, although I wouldn't turn, you know, anyone down. But I think it would be really neat, you know, to be open a certain evening for, you know, just whenever I have time or feel like I have everything stocked up, and then have people come in certain time slots and shop if they wish. I just love to meet people, and I'll definitely miss that about the fair this year. I always did the vintage fair. I always really enjoyed meeting the people there because I felt we all had similar interests, so I'll definitely miss that. But I think this is opening a new door for me. I'm really excited about it. In fact, next week's video will be a glimpse into that little space that we are mostly finished with. So I'm, yeah, really excited to show you guys. But as far as, yeah, doing anything with the pieces of furniture, so far, no, I have really done nothing with them. They're just sitting there. So Sarah Bates asks, how did you hide the wire to plug in the pump? She's talking about the little water feature. There's of course an electric pump inside the bucket, and I drilled a hole in the side of the bucket to feed that, you know, cord through, and then I hid it kind of amongst the plants that I had set up on the little table or potting bench, so it wasn't really hard to just, you know, hide it behind there. So the next questions are from the next video, which is the shed here where I'm sitting right now. I had done a video on some of the plants that I moved in here and just kind of bringing a sense of cheer into this space. So NT Hill is asking about the plants in here. Does it get way too hot in the summer for the plants? It definitely does. This little space really gets hot in the summertime during the day. So I will be moving all these plants on, you know, the front porch or the back deck. Jody Carlin asks, where did you get the green cone-shaped planter with the iron base? It is sitting in front of me here, so I will just show you guys instead of finding the video. It is this one here, I believe she is talking about. Just beautiful. I got it at Country Gatherings. It's a store here in our area. It's in Berlin, and they are the most amazing place to visit, guys. I know I've said this before on my channel, but I go in there and I'm just in another world. I'm just lost in there. They have a kind of a greenhouse section and then, you know, home decorations, but they have the most amazing things. And this was a bit pricey. Some of their things are just a bit on the pricey side, but it's just unique things and, you know, good quality. This one I think I paid, it was on clearance, it was 30% off, so I know I did get a discount, but I'm thinking maybe in the low 20s, like $23 or something. But I just love the color of it, and it's just so cute. So Christina asks what I plan to do with the plants in the winter time. I will definitely move them inside. I had done a little plant room space last winter. I'll try to link that above or below. But I had fixed up a little corner that's really bright in our house where I store my house plants. And a lot of these were actually stored there over the winter. They always get a little sad looking. The plants just thrive so much better with, you know, more light in an area like this. But I have confidence that they should, you know, survive in that little space. So that's probably what I'll plan to do again this coming winter. Colleen is asking if I get any mice in my shed here. I haven't so far, except for one time I forgot to close I have a hole in the floor where I run my electric cords through because my outlet's in here. That way we didn't have to put an outlet on the outside. I forgot to cover that little space, and I instantly saw signs of mice in here, so as long as I keep that covered, I'm okay. So Susan is asking about how the windows open out here in the shed. How are they hung to open this way? I will try to get a clip of this in the video so this makes more sense, but they actually open from the bottom and they have hinges along the top. They just swing out, and I use these little wood pieces here to kind of prop them open. And I know years ago when I saw an image probably in a magazine, because I was, you know, Amish at the time, so I wouldn't have had, you know, access to being online, but I saw a picture of an old window that was opened that way, and I just fell in love with it. I knew if I'd ever have my dream shed, that's the way I wanted my windows. So that's kind of what inspired that. So the next questions are from the Trash to Treasure video. I was going to buy a Cameo 3 but can't get them anywhere, and I noticed that too recently. I wanted to send someone to Amazon to, you know, buy the Cameo 3, and they are non-existent. I can't believe it. I love my Cameo 3. I know I should probably upgrade to the 4 just so I can tell you guys, you know, what the the difference is, or if I like it better. But I'm that type, I get fed up with myself sometimes about this, but and I hear it all the time from my boys, like if I have something that works for me, I just feel no need to upgrade. And you know, my boys, being the generation they're from, of course can't understand that, but I realize I should definitely get a Cameo 4 so I can see, you know, how they work. But her question here is, I have to buy the vinyl, correct? And what one did you say was the best to buy? I always get Oracle 631 vinyl. I get it from Amazon. Love that vinyl, would not use anything else. And is there anything else I need to buy before I can work with the Cameo here? When I got my Cameo 3, I had everything I needed included, but I'm not sure, again, I should probably know this, but I'm not sure, does the 4 have all that extra stuff? I could not be without that little weeding tool, and I'll try to get an image of that here on the screen, but it's just something you need if you want to do any form of, you know, making decals. And then also a scraper. I always use that every time I make a decal, but there again, you could use a credit card or a, you know, any hard, thin, like a scraper of sorts. That would work too, but I think it's just nice. The scraper that they send with the Cameo, you know, works really well. I'm trying to think. And then transfer tape. You would of course need the clear transfer tape to hold your decal together. I will also link some of the videos that I've done on Cameo tutorials down below for you, in case you're actually looking to just, you know, kind of see how to, just the basic functions of one. So Judy says, how did you learn to do all this? I don't know. I don't feel like, first of all, I know everything. I'm still learning, but the things I have learned so far, I would say, stem from just being, I remember just being a little girl and being fascinated already when I'd see Dad working in the shop and, you know, watching him use tools. And that's basically how I learned, was just watching other people. And then later on, you know, of course, my husband. I just always took an interest in creating. I guess that's often if you have the interest, you know, to do something, it'll come easier for you. I realize it's not everybody's thing. We all have our different, you know, talents and gifts that God gave us to use. And for me, I just always love to create or give a new look to something. I still feel like if I can do it, anyone can. It's not the stuff I do isn't hard. I don't think it is. The next question here is, I wonder what hardware you used on the back of the chandelier turned into the plant sconce, which those are just hanging above me here. I'm not sure, can you see in the video or not, but was the chandelier already threaded? Yes, it was. I probably should have explained that more in the video, but the back end of that chandelier actually has a thread on it, and it had a nut, you know, attached to fasten it to the chandelier. So I just unscrewed that, stuck it through the wood, and then screwed it back on. Alita Monte says, can I ask what spray paint color did you use to paint the metal cabinet? I believe it was Rust-Oleum brand, the chalked paint, and I think, pretty sure the color was charcoal. It's almost black, just a really nice dark gray. So the last set of questions is the Mother's Day gift ideas video. Sarah is asking about did you just replant the potted flower in the teacup, or do you need to do more before replanting? I have actually since took those little plants out of the teacups already and just planted them out in my garden. I didn't do anything else with them besides just stick them in the ground. I'm sure they would still, I'm thinking they would still be okay in that container, but I didn't really have room for it. I just wanted to do it for the, you know, benefit of the video, and I thought it would be a cute little idea to just gift someone with that. But that way they could, you know, plant the flowers outside or wherever if they wish, and then still have the little teacup to use. Joy Walsh is asking, are you going to bring back the candles you had last year that were poured in white painted tin cans? I get a lot of questions about those. Those are one of my favorite candles. I just love that look of a white tin can with a white candle in there. And of course they smelled so good. The lady that pours them for me, you know, like I always say, she does such a wonderful job with them. But it was such a hassle for me to get those cans. I still have not found an outlet where I can actually buy new tin cans that don't have that sharp edge, you know, along the rim. You can buy them new, but you need that machine then to kind of crimp that edge down, or it'll be a safety hazard. What I just did last summer was I actually went and bought, you know, went to Dollar General and bought some vegetables, you know, poured those out, and then, you know, washed the cans and painted them, and then poured the candle wax in there. Again, a nice look, but it just took a lot of time, and I could not keep up. You know, I got I mean, I appreciated all the orders that I got, but I couldn't keep up. It just took a lot of, you know, cleaning out cans and painting, and so far, sadly, no, I have not really found another outlet. I know I will not have time this summer to actually get the tin cans, but I do have another summer candle coming up. It's probably going to be one of my favorites. I know I always say that, but stay tuned for that. Brenda is asking, do you water your paint down for the sprayer? If so, how much? Yes, I always water it down, and I get a lot of questions about that, and I'm never sure what to say besides just, you know, add a little bit of water, stir it, and I just kind of know when it's the right, you know, consistency, and you kind of learn as you go. I would say for the sprayer container, you know, that I have, I would probably fill it with paint up to maybe 3/4 full, and then just the rest with water. That seems about right, but again, I would just need, and it kind of varies in paint too. Some paint is thicker than others, but. So I have just a few more questions that I want to address that I got a lot of, and one of them was in the Trash to Treasure video. A lot of you guys asked why I did not wear my respirator when I was sanding the metal cabinet or the metal cart, and I know I probably should have, even just for the video's sake, but I'm often in a hurry, and when I started sanding, I always test it first. If I feel like I am breathing things in, I will definitely wear my respirator. But it was so windy that day, the wind just whipped that dust away. I did not even smell it or breathe it or feel it or anything. So that's why I didn't wear it. Again, I probably should have, even just for, you know, in the video. Again, just I'm impatient. I'm often in a hurry. So the other question I get a lot is about the hair covering or the little veil that I wear in my hair. And I won't even start in this video because it's time to end here, but I'll just send you guys over to a Q&A that I had done about a year or year and a half ago where I addressed that subject. So check that out if you want to know more. And as always, I hope you guys are having a great week. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye!